Hi, class. I welcome to week 4. I am excited to help you go through this. Today, this chapter we're on right now, I'm going to try to share my screen this time because I do want to walk through the textbook with you a little bit. Um, and I want to show you something that is a little different than what you won't see in this textbook, which is why this textbook and McGraw-Hill called me after I complained what was missing in the textbook. Why they ultimately asked me to, when am I going to write textbooks with them? As again, I am writing chapters for this text for your class, specifically for you, to give you what's not in the textbook. And one of the things I wanted to show you is we're talking about websites. So many people may think that a website is antiquated. And in some ways, there are different ways of having different things, and I want to show you one as a website. But you do have to have a website objective because you can have a website that is literally just um, like a business card, right? It just has information that it's on it. It's not engaging. It's just here's about us. Here's our services. Here's our pricing. Here's how to contact us, right? Artists have the same way. If you go look at an artist website, you'll have their homepage. You have an about them, which is their artist statement and their artist's bio. You'll have like a gallery or a shop where you can go buy their artwork. You'll have something with, media events or upcoming, news and something, maybe a page about their commission and, doing commission work and how that process works. And then a contact me page. So that is beginnings of an objective for your website. Um, so you have to think through what kind of website that you want to have. And you also want to always keep in mind, and this is the one thing if I could pound something in heads, it would be this. And you know this because you do this, which is nobody likes multiple clicks to where they're going. So when you're designing a website, you want to design it that you are two, maybe three clicks away from getting to where you need them to go. Otherwise, you're going to lose them. So it really becomes important that you plan. You can map out like what those pages are going to look like and what you want on those pages. I use Wix.com. And there's a reason why I like Wix. I'm actually a graphic designer and a website designer, but because I'm a website designer, using their templates makes it so easy because I can really customize a template to be exactly what I want. Um, but again, you want to think through all those different tabs. You've got some of these, and I should have opened up. Let me see if I can open it up. Because sometimes I forget my login information. Um, but you can go here and no, I'm not going to be able to get to it easy. So, um, but anyway, you can go, let me just take you to one of my pages and that might help. So this is my coaching page where I do part-time coaching. But you can see I have the about me. My focus areas, my credentials, testimonials of what people say about me. I put my headshot there because when I do public speaking, they'll always ask me for a headshot, and you just go to my website. I do have different brands. I have an Ask Amy, which is a developing podcast that I have. I have the About ESS, which is this brand. My little dog Miriam passed away, but I do psychiatric service dogs. My guest speaking, and then also my consulting business. And so this is being updated because I have to put more of my coaching in this area. I have books and papers that I've written. I have done a TEDx on small businesses. This is my media page where, you have, your downloadable speaker kit. Um, I have, information about my mom, a promo video about me. So you can see I've thought about that. I've also made it kind of interactive. And I've done this myself, by the way. These are all the places where not all of them, but, a list of places where I've been in the media. My coaching program, again, I'm working on that. So this is a coaching program that I'm developing for different types of coaching that I do. And I will eventually do master classes that have nothing to do with this class. Like I'm doing one on Coco Chanel, about her brand. I'm doing a master class on Taylor Swift. And then I will have my contact me page. So as you can see, and I also have, schedule a Calendly call. So all of this, and again, I've got to tweak it a bit, was a strategy that I thought about with my website, also including the email sign up here. Now, the one thing I want to go back to you and show you, um, whoops, where was it at? It was under media. So when I said that there's different types of websites, so this is your traditional website. Now, the one thing that I would say you could do further on this website, I can make a member section where people go and put a passcode in, and there's all this member content, where people can go read articles that are exclusive for them, and get a lot of contact. I can have people go sign up for services. Like if you go do your hair salon now, you don't have to call. At my hair salon, I just go check to see it online if my stylist is available, book the appointment online. If it's not, then I pick up the phone and call because she can always fit me in. Um, so you want to think about that. I also have a speaker's kit here. So when people want to do, public speaking, they can download it. It's like a PR of all the things that I've done. But right here's what I want to bring to you, because you see this a lot on social media. It's called LinkedIn bio. And I've done one. So let me show you how that works because I brought up my Instagram page. So, like right here is my LinkedIn bio, and I use the website Later, Later, because they're a social media aggregator, and they, sorry, I have my little dog here. She was just spayed. They have, they have, this LinkedIn bio where you can create a little mini website is basically what it is. So let me click on this. Well, let me do it this way. Um, but Later is what I was talking about. Later is a social media aggregator where I can go and drop all of my content in a calendar through all my social media platforms in one place. And they also have this LinkedIn bio. So this is basically a website, right? It's a little bit about me. I have my email sign up list, which takes them to my website to sign up. I have this little promo video on me, book a free consultation, coaching workshops. The podcast that I do, I have a fashion philosophy podcast and an open discussion philosophy podcast. Got to get back to it. And I also have an Etsy shop here, right? So this is the same thing as a website. It's just, it's easier sometimes if you only have a few things going on, or it's just cleaner looking than a website. So I don't want you to forget, and these were all my social media, not all of them, but most of them. So I don't want you to forget that while you could go and get a traditional website that's super expensive, you can also do a LinkedIn bio. So this is done through Later. Let me go log in. Because my social media manager and I fight over this because she doesn't like it. I do. Um, but I can do see that there's sometimes to use it, sometimes not. And I'll explain that in a second. Okay. So you can see this is what Later looks like. This is why I love Later. So here are all the social media pages. So just as a kind of hint, when we get to social media, you would link all your social media sites, and they only give you a certain number of them, and then you can add these. But what I want to go down to is this LinkedIn bio here. And I don't recall paying for this. So Later has a free version where you can only connect a few. Social media sites, and you can only post a certain number. And you have a LinkedIn bio. So this is how you create a LinkedIn bio, right? So if I want to go and adjust my social media links, I could go here. And let's say I wanted to promote the fact that I'm on Threads, which I am. I can click here and add Threads as a link, and it will show up here as additional social media. So I just wanted to take a moment and show you that as you go through this chapter on websites, that you start to think about traditional websites, but you also think about Let me go back to showing you. Um, Well, you think about another way. And again, right now, LinkedIn bios are really popular instead of having to create this big website. You still have to put the same strategy, the same objectives, everything like that into it. So you're looking for conversion for people who go to that site and then convert to something like sign up for my coaching classes, or my coaching program, or go read about my media, or go out and watch my TEDx, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you have this conversion. You want to be able to do that. Now, the one thing that you're going to do is you want to also consider Google Analytics, which is why I love Wix, because on each page of my Wix, and you saw like, a professor, all those different tabs I showed you on the toolbar, those are all individual pages on a web hosting company. And that's where you go. You have to go pick a web hosting company. So you have your domain name, and then you have to take that domain name and attach it, right? So when you attach it to your web hosting platform that hosts the actual website, you have to think about that. I picked Wix because it's so simple, but also on each of those pages, I can go in and do search engine optimization. That means that the right words are on that page. So if somebody goes to Google and they search keywords, then those keywords are my page will come up on the search, and you want to make sure you're in the top 10 because think about yourself, you don't always scroll down, although I do. You don't always scroll down. So you want to make sure you have a Google Analytics account, or your web hosting company offers data analytics so you can go in and see how many people visited your website, what page did they go to, and because that's going to tell you, right, where people are going on your website, where on that toolbar are they going, how long are they staying there. So you want to think about getting Google Analytics so that you can start to see. And it also, Google Analytics talks about where people are coming from. Are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from Instagram? Where are they coming from? Are they coming from a Google search? Right? So all that data tells you information about how you change your digital marketing strategy, to make sure you're engaging with people the right way, and you're converting them into buying a product or a service. Um, you also want to think about enhancing retention and loyalty. That's why I mentioned, maybe opening up a members page where if people sign up for your membership, and that's something that they're going to send you, money monthly, that you can offer them something. Right? It could be like, let's say I have a member section and I decide like every week I'm going to drop a video like this where I go into something that I feel is very important. If people are wanting to change the trajectory of their career, learn something new, and they trust me, then I give them loyalty rewards. It can also be merch. This is where a lot of people do get into merch, where they're offering it. So I could have, and I probably eventually will, have philosophical sayings, right? And then put it on t-shirts, and have a page where I have a shop where they can go and buy merch. So, but that merch also might be, something I send somebody. So, hey, for signing up with my email, I'll send you a free t-shirt. However you do that, but you want to make sure you're building loyalty so people keep coming back to your website, right? Um, so make sure you read through these. Again, you're going to want to have that about page where you're establishing your credibility. You saw my professor page where I go into, let's see, um, let me go back to, so the bio that I sent you at the very beginning that you guys could look at. If you go here, this is my bio. Now, the bio I gave you is different because I wanted you guys to know a little bit more about me. But this is me explaining why you should trust me, right? You want to trust me because these are my focus areas, right? Um, you want to trust me because of my credentials. So I have this where I talk about where my education is at, all the different, schools and the classes I've taught within the different schools. These are all of the colleges that I've taught at. Here's my winning the American Marketing Association Award, the Tammy Award, and also a Silver Microphone Award. Again, that's adding credibility to what I do. I did just notice something I have to change. I need to put this as a toolbar on each of those pages so that people can go back and forth. So that's a strategy. So for example, like I said, click here. I can go to testimonials. right? I should have that same toolbar up here so that I get the same testimonials. So you can see where the Michigan Chamber of Commerce wrote me a really nice testimonial. One of my students, thank you, and thanks for being a great professor and sharing your experience and knowledge. I've worked with the, vet small, the U.S., the Small Business Administration Veterans Business Outreach Program. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to present in this webinar. The information resources were excellent, and our veterans clients of Vet Biz Central. Okay, and then I actually put a copy of the letter that they wrote, if they wrote a letter there. So again, this is how you build credibility. So like I said, after I get done, I'm going to go put this little toolbar because I'm already annoyed myself, right? Going back. So again, I'm showing with these additional links that I hopefully, after they get done reading this, I've built up my credibility. So you're going to do that too, either with yourself, if you are a freelancer, 1099 contractor, same thing. If you're a freelancer, you're going to talk about what it is about you and why they should trust you. And if it's about a company, then it's about the leadership of that company, right? The CEO. Why is it important that, Mary Barra is the first female CEO at General Motors? What does that say? What's her experience? You'll always hear that she started out at GMI, which was working in a plant, going to school at General Motors Institute, which is now Kettering, and then went to, I want to say it was Harvard for a business program, got her MBA there, which, the General Motors supported because she was up and coming. So they paid for that. And then that gives her credibility, right? I've worked in a plant. I understand that world. I'm an engineer. I'm a business person. So that's a strategy. And then explaining if you've got multiple brands, how do you explain those brands to people and where they can go to different websites to see that? So this is my fashion philosophy website for the podcast. I've done a couple of them. But again, you can see that I have the about up here. I've explained the different types of on the podcast, talk about beauty and aesthetics. I probably should pick this up so it moves a little faster. But talk about space and time in philosophy, what that means, how fashion changes over time. Um, and also cultural diasporas, like different, like this is a Japanese kimono. So those are the kinds of things, and see how this has a different strategy than my other main website. So, but you can also see how that ties into, these are the podcasts I did. So you can see how I've created a page that's multidimensional that has all these sub brands. And I don't recommend doing that to my students. I just don't, because it's too much. You really want to, so I always tell my students, you've been trained to think big, right? But the answer, simply put, is you have to focus on one thing to be good. Pick the one thing that's going to make you the most money. So if you want to be an influencer and you think that's going to make you your money, if you've got a product idea and you think that's going to make your money, if you want to do merch and you think that's going to make your money, do that first, because you take the money that you make from that first business and you use your own seed money to seed the other companies that you're doing. Because if you start doing everything at once, like I'm doing, you're going to fail at all of them. That's why some of these are on hiatus, because I'm making big changes in doing this coaching program. I'm putting the podcasts on hiatus, right? I can't do everything. So again, you want to think through that strategy of your website. So hopefully this was helpful to get you to start thinking about this as you read through this website chapter, and know that there is the LinkedIn bio, which is acting as a website, not as complicated, built for mobile phones versus websites that are landscape. So, and the one thing I would tell you too, before you go, what I also love about Wix is that if you go to the very top, it'll show you a picture of a computer and a picture of a mobile phone. I can flip back and forth between the two versions of what they're going to see on the computer and what they're going to see on the phone, and make adjustments to the pages I've created, make adjustments for the mobile. And we'll talk about mobile later, but I just wanted to let you know, if you pick the right web hosting company and platform, they have a lot of services that you can use that make it easier for you, because at the end of the day, what I would tell you about websites, especially, it's one of the biggest downfalls I see of small businesses. They pay people a lot of money to build their websites, and yet technology has advanced so much to make website design so easy that you should save your money and do your own website and spend that money elsewhere, running ads, hiring a PR agent, whatever it is that you want to do. But again, learning how to be able to do your own website, and you can go practice. I don't know if you know this, but Google has its own, it's called Google Sites. So the website I sent you at the beginning of the semester, where all the videos are that you should have gone and watched, those are all on a Google Site website that I didn't pay for. It's free. I don't have my domain name on it because it's not paid for, but you can create a very simple, website with them with different templates. And I highly encourage you to go do it for this chapter as you get to know it. So that's it for week 4 websites. I will say I will be putting out some announcements soon because I am changing some things. We're adding, an assignment at the very end of, I think, week 7. But don't worry about that right now. We'll get to it in week 7. Right now, you're just doing assignments and quizzes, and there'll be a larger project coming up soon, that you'll start to take all this information that you're learning about websites and things like that and build that into your assignment. So hope that you have any, you read the chapter. If you have any questions, please reach out, but have a great week.